Will, Coach Brown kind of discussed how he's challenged you and a couple other guys to step into a leadership role. How have you kind of embraced that, and how do you plan to continue embracing that throughout the spring?
I say just leading the young guys coming in. We got a bunch of transfers came in and still young too, so I say just showing them the ropes of how we do things around here and what the standard is.
He was along those lines. He was saying he's challenged you to be more vocal. He said you always have done everything that they ask you to do. You lead by example, but he wants you to be vocal. Is that something that comes naturally to you, or is that something you have to challenge yourself to do also?
I say it's something I have to challenge myself to do because, me, I'm kind of quiet, honestly, I say. But, I try to lead by example. Like B. Brown said, just by doing the right things. But I say the vocal part of leading has been coming out lately.
In what way?
I say just probably if we playing, practicing sloppy or doing something sloppy, just speaking up and telling the guys, like, this ain't how we do things around here. Just stuff like that.
What's your first impression of the two big guys, Otis and I don't even know how to pronounce the other one's name?
Macabre.
Yeah.
I mean, they big, bro. I've been knowing Otis since he in high school. He's a Mississippi guy. And, just adding them to our D-line room, which is so helpful for me, to have somebody who can come in after me and stop the run too. So they creating a lot of value for themselves.
Will, I want to ask you a little bit of an oddball question, but it's about your mom. I mean, how incredible is it to have such a support in your life, like your mother and your family?
My mom, she everything to me. She been there through my highs and lows. Ever since I started my career. Even since Pee Wee, and since high school when I wanted to get recruited, she's always been there, been very supportive. And for her to just continue to do that, and it's not just even my family or my mom. It's like everybody in Houston, like where I'm from. They're just so supportive of me. Coming from like where I'm from. Me coming to Ole Miss was kind of odd, I'd say. So just the support system that has grew over time. I'm just so thankful for them.
You've gone through the first 2 weeks of practice and you continue to go through spring ball. What are your main goals as you go through spring practice, and how do you kind of evaluate success for you and the rest of the defense?
Can you ask the question again? Your mic had one. I'm sorry.
Can you read it? Okay, yeah. I just going to ask, like, as you've gone through the first 2 weeks of spring ball and as you go through the rest of it, how do you kind of evaluate your success for you and for the rest of the defense?
Coach Jonas tells us all the time, when team success comes, individual success comes. So, just getting everybody on the right page. We added some big guys in the back end. So, it'll allow us to go rush, and we ain't got to do a lot of more through drop, like as opposed to like we did last year. So, just getting everybody on the same page, and get ready to go for the fall.
How have you kind of seen this defense maybe differently from last year with, just a bunch of changes at the linebacker in the secondary room, and even there's some changes on the defensive line? Just what have you seen that's different, maybe even better?
I still say it's still early right now to tell, but I know we got these two linebackers just came in. They very two hard workers. Every day after practice they upstairs watching film on what they just did. So they're working hard. The back end, they make plays. They make unbelievable plays daily. Like Cedric Beavers, he a guy been here for I think a little longer than me. He just made a play in practice that crazy. You feel me, ran the ball down. So just to see them having success and playing well, it's just I see something special building in our defense.
After last year's success, what are you most looking forward to in the upcoming season?
As in for me or for the team?
Both.
For me, just keep doing what I've been doing. Keep doing what I've been doing for the team. Just to be back in the place we was at last year to compete for a national championship and the SEC championship. So just like I said, and what comes team success comes individual success. So just go from there.
Anything else for Will? Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Appreciate it.